Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2018 general readings. Is it November already? It is. Thank you very much for joining us here today. Welcome to any newcomers. Thank you as always for those of you who continue to follow my channel, for all your likes, shares, and subscribes. Thank you to all of my clients out there who continue to keep me so busy with personal one-on-one readings. It's an honor and a pleasure. If any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you haven't read with me before or you've forgotten the information, you can get more info and my contact details by going to my YouTube channel's homepage and clicking on the little About button, excuse me, or you can click on the description bar of any of the videos that I post. Please feel free to contact me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. Turnaround time for personal readings, live or recorded, is pretty timely. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week. It is what I do, so I work pretty diligently with your schedule to get you a reading as quickly as possible. I do a wide variety of readings of all different types and lengths in all areas of life, so if you're interested, send me an email. We'll go from there. You can also find me on the smartphone app Instantgo under Irish Gypsy. That link is also provided. That's for fast answers to the fast, easy questions. But for the traditional readings or more complex readings, send me an email and we'll set something up for you. Okay, let's move right into this. This is for the Earth sign of Capricorn for the month of November 2018. If you know your rising and moon sign, watch those videos as well for additional clarification. General readings can always vary a bit for everybody watching. All right, Capricorn. Let's see what's in store for you for November. We begin with the King of Pentacles, followed by the Lovers. We have the Tower, followed by the Knight of Wands. We have the Nine of Wands, followed by the Three of Pentacles. And we have the Knight of Swords, followed by the Hanging Man. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and advice for the month of November is the Queen of Cups. So Capricorn, it looks like something is crumbling, maybe quite quickly. And is meant to. For some of you, this may have been something that has already recently happened or is in the process of happening now. I always say that time is somewhat fluid, and never more so than in a general reading. For some of you, this might start a little earlier. For some of you, it might start a little later. For some of you, it might be ongoing right now. I am recording the November generals in the last few days of October. So your overall energy and advice for the month of November from the bottom of the deck, your crowning card is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising. For some of you, it might be a water sign or somebody manifesting as the Queen of Cups who may be significant or influential in the month of November. But for many of you, I feel this is energy, and it's also in the position of not just focus, but guidance and advice as well. Cups is water energy, so in the tarot, this is the energy of the heart. This is about our emotions, our feelings, that landscape. It's also the area of our life that deals with relationships with all types of people, all kinds of relationships. As the Queen of Cups as energy and as advice would represent often touching base with your feelings and with your intuition, because the Queen of Cups is a very spiritual and spiritually intuitive person in the tarot. In fact, I feel like the only person that tops her for intuitiveness or intuitive reasoning in the tarot deck is the High Priestess. Excuse me, a little froggy this morning. And so when the Queen of Cups comes up as guidance and advice, it's always about taking a step back, maintaining kind of a calm and a patience, and as to the best of your ability, understanding and compassion if you're in situations where you're dealing with other people, because the Queen of Cups if I were to describe her as an actual person, this is somebody who makes a lovely mother, a lovely wife. She's kind of one of the feminine ideals in the tarot. She is kind, compassionate, loving, nurturing, always knows the right things to say. She's very patient, understanding, although we all have our bad days. But she's a very spiritual individual. So when the Queen of Cups comes up as advice, it's always about taking a step back, or stopping for a minute and touching base with your feelings. How do you feel about a certain situation? What is your intuition telling you? Intuition and feelings are not exactly the same thing. Feelings and emotions are an influencer, and you can use them as a guide, but I wouldn't base your significant decisions or actions based purely on emotions, because they're not all that reliable. Emotions, like water, is very mercurial and fluid. But intuition is that conduit between you and spirit. Some people call it gut instinct, some people call it their higher self. So over the month of November, Capricorn, Spirit's advice to you is to make sure before you go rushing off and doing anything, reacting, making any significant or life-changing decisions, open your mouth to say something on the spur of the moment, fueled only by emotion. Make sure to stop, touch base with what your feelings are. You don't need to act on your feelings just because you're exploring them. And then ask yourself, what is your intuition telling you is the best thing to do here? Where do you feel Spirit is leading you? Now we begin with the King of Pentacles and the Lovers. So the King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy, Sun, Moon, or Rising, showing up as a king, but could represent a female as well. For many of you, this is going to represent you being or needing to manifest the best and highest character traits of the suit that's inherent to you. Pentacles is earth energy, so it's about solidness, stability, hardworking, putting away things for yourself. It's about being sincere, honest, trustworthy, because that's what the King of Pentacles is. Kings and Queens represent individuals who have reached the mastery of their suit. So they've mastered through the energy of the page and the energy of the knight. They've reached the top of their suit, so they have a balanced perspective and a mastery over what's inherent to them. So the King of Pentacles is very good with things like money, with navigating, with job, with navigating the day-to-day aspects of the real world that we live in. He's probably comfortable, if not wealthy, because he enjoys good things and he's worked very hard to build up a solid, stable foundation for himself. He's usually pretty generous, likes to be good to his friends and his family. He's an upright, solid, stable individual. So I think for a lot of you, you're being asked to manifest this energy along with the Queen of Cups, or you're being exactly who you are and trying to maintain a stable foundation while making a significant choice. Now for some of you, this might also represent another earth sign individual who's significant for you in the month of November as well. Taurus, Virgo, or another Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So the King of Pentacles is clarified by the Lovers. Major Arcana card. The Lovers represents, it can represent a karmic, passionate, soulmate union, or a relationship that you have with another person that's very connected and very kinetic, very passionate. But it's about making a significant choice that will likely affect a significant or primary relationship. In the early tarot decks, this was called the Choice, not the Lovers. Showed a man standing in front of two women or a woman standing in front of two men, and the implication being that a choice was going to have to be made that was going to significantly influence the lives of everyone involved. Now, as I always say with this card, that is not to say that you know, you are choosing between two people or someone is choosing between you and somebody else. That may be the case for some of you. But this represents that a significant choice needs to be made, either about a significant relationship or a decision in another area of your life that's going to affect a significant relationship. So it looks like at the end of October, beginning of November, you're in that energy of kind of contemplating, perhaps trying to look at everything, weigh everything, and figure out what's the best thing to do. Now next to that we have the Tower and the Knight of Wands. Now, knights represent often offers and opportunities being brought in, or you delivering them, because they're the bringers and delivers of the tarot. And they also represent the speed at which situations move. You have two knights in this spread, so I feel like this situation may be fast moving or may feel like it's moving very fast, at least initially. So we have the Tower here, another major arcana card. The Tower is a card that represents energies of God, spirit, your angels and guides, completely out of your control. You have no control over this energy, and it represents a pretty significant life-changing event, or an event that has the potential to shake you up right down to the core. I know a lot of people clench up when they see the Tower because it often represents the destruction or crumbling or breaking down or falling apart of something that we thought was solid, stable, and reliable. And it turned out not to be in a very unexpected way, which we perhaps did or didn't see coming. It doesn't always have to represent, the dissolution or loss of something. Sometimes it represents, this could be winning the lottery, receiving an unexpected marriage proposal. But it often represents the crumbling down of something because it needs to go. Sometimes we've been given multiple opportunities by God's spirit, our angels and guides, to remove this thing ourselves or leave this thing behind ourselves. But if we don't, and it's absolutely not meant to be part of our karmic path, then spirit comes in and usually does it for us in this form. So something comes in quite suddenly and falls apart or begins to crumble, or something happens that really shakes up something that you thought was stable. Now, this could be a situation like a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a way of thinking, a fundamental perception or ideology or way of believing something as well. That could be, being broken, shaken apart, or, shown to be, hey, this is not true for me anymore. Excuse me. So what clarifies the Tower is the Knight of Wands. Out of all four of the knights, the fastest. So I feel like this is a very fast-moving situation, or it may come in very quickly, or it may feel like it's moving very quickly. But therein also knights bringing offers or opportunities, which also represent change or the opportunity for change. And this is very hot, fast, action-oriented, fluid energy because it's fire, which governs the suit of wands. So whatever this thing is that is, crumbling, it looks quite quickly. Within this is an opportunity for a change if you choose to take it. As I always say, we live in a free will zone. Regardless of what spirit shows us or tries to orchestrate, we always can say yes or no at the end of the day. To look at something as an opportunity for change, even though it's challenging, because the Tower comes up usually if something's ending with the Tower, it's meant to end. You may have thought it was solid and stable, but if it was, it could have withstood the lightning. So birth follows death. Beginnings follow endings. That's the way it goes. There is an opportunity for change if something is perhaps falling apart or crumbling or being very shaken up. And this might not be the loss of something, it might be the complete and total transformation of something. For example, if this is for relationships, Capricorn, it might be the dissolution or loss of or ending of a relationship, but it can also represent a relationship that went through a very difficult or bad time, but in that is an opportunity for the people involved to change and grow and transform moving forward, whether together or separately. Although I don't feel for many of you, if it's a relationship, I don't feel for many of you like there's an ending in terms of an actual permanent break. But it does look like a bit of a challenge. For some of you, I mean, we have 4 characters, 2 major arcana cards, 3 major arcana cards, and 2 minor or pip cards as we call it. So what it is, I mean, it could be in your job, work, career, business life. It could be in your financial structure. It could be in your spiritual life, or, your fundamental, the aspect of your life that deals with fundamental beliefs, or it could be relationship. It's going to vary in a general reading per person, but it really could be, I mean, it really could be in any of those areas. You have, a sword, a couple of pentacles, a couple of wands, a cups. So it might be relationship for some of you, but for some of you, I feel like it's a way of a belief structure that may be crumbling down as well. So the challenge is getting through this, because I feel like something is ending, you're in the middle of an end, but you may be kind of holding on or feeling like you can't get through it, or you don't know how to get through it, or you're just tired. But it's about kind of pushing through, because something is coming to an end, and is meant to. There's an opportunity for learning, for growth, wisdom, and kind of evolving here. Next we have the Nine of Wands and the Three of Pentacles. So the Nine of Wands is that card about maybe withdrawing a bit, feeling tired, discouraged, maybe a bit depressed. You know, what is this block that's come up? In the tarot, 10s represent cycles ending. So the 9 represents being, you know, it's right around the corner. You're right at the precipice of something coming to an end, or in the middle of an end. But perhaps something has come up, as symbolized by this grouping of wands behind him. And he's tired, worn out, discouraged. He just wants to be done. He's a knight. He's a soldier. What do soldiers do? They fight battles. He's fought quite a few. He just wants to be done. He wants to go home, take his armor off, take his boots off, put his feet up, have a cup of coffee, a glass of wine, a beer or something. He wants to be done. How do I get through this? Can I get through this? Should I get through this? Is this ever going to end? Am I ever going to get through this? But I call this my 11th hour card, because we're so close to the finish. We're at the 9. It's always darkest before dawn. That's the nature of this card. And the accompanying vice with the 9 of Wands is almost always push through. You are closer than you think. This ending, yes, it may represent an ending or something crumbling, but in the seeds of every ending are, in the roots of every ending are the seeds of the new beginning, of the next new thing. So opportunities for growth here. Compromise, negotiation, and teamwork is at play here. And you do have a variety of court cards here. Some of them I think represent just energy, but some of them may represent, you know, a partner, a friend, a close person, or, you know, there may be a few other players in the situation as well, because the Three of Pentacles is how you kind of are going to get through this. If this is a situation that involves other people, teamwork, it's about compromising and negotiation, which is what the Three of Pentacles is about. It's about working together collaboratively with another person or other people. Excuse me. Gosh, I hope I'm not getting another cold. Everybody agree. This is about getting everybody on board, that there's one thing to be accomplished, one goal to be achieved here. Different people, different opinions, different ideas of how that needs to be accomplished. Prioritizing what's the most important thing, letting go of the little things, and everybody kind of working together to compromise and negotiate, which means that everybody gets a little, everybody gives a little, in order to achieve whatever the primary goal is, to work together. So it's teamwork. That's how you get through whatever this is that's going on. It might be something that's happening for those of you that are partnered with a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or even a business partnership or friendship, or some, it might be a combination of those energies. I feel like whatever is happening, it's about compromising, negotiating, and working together to get through the very tail end of this. Now, towards the end of November 2018, we have the Knight of Swords and the Hanging Man. So another knight here. This is the Knight of Swords. Swords is air energy. This is mental energy, cerebral, intellectual energy. In the tarot, the energy of swords, of air, is about what goes on up in our heads, how we look at things, how we perceive things, what our belief systems are, what we think about things, because that directly affects the way that we relate to the world, see the world, and communicate our words and our ideas to the world. It's also about truth, education, illumination, learning, all about this. So the Knight of Swords is bringing information, news, truth, clarity. What's the Knight of Swords about? So what clarifies him is the Hanging Man, which is a card that can make you feel like you're in stasis or in limbo. And I feel for some of you there is some news or information that comes in at or around the end of the month, although again this might be a little earlier for some, a little later than for others, or going on right now, or throughout the month, some combination of that. It can feel like you're in stasis and limbo, which is what the Hanging Man appears to be. He's hanging upside down in what appears to be a rather awkward or even uncomfortable position. but he's not struggling, or he's not meant to struggle. Which means that there's a certain amount of temporary kind of self-sacrifice in this energy. The Hanging Man, even though he may want to rush into the situation and force an outcome or manipulate an outcome or rush an outcome, he understands that he doesn't know everything yet. Divine timing and orchestration is at play. Whatever is going on here, it's definitely meant to be happening, even if it's challenging. So have heart in that, have faith in that, because God, Spirit, angels, and guides love you. They love all of us. They want our joy and fulfillment. They want us to grow and learn and love and become better people, which is what leads to our ultimate joy and fulfillment. So things that happen, even that are challenging, like this Tower card energy can sometimes be, are meant to put us on a path towards our joy and fulfillment. And the Hanging Man understands that. And even though he may feel like he wants to run in and do a bunch of stuff and rush and force and manipulate and you know, an outcome, he understands he doesn't know everything yet. Things are still playing out. Divine timing and orchestration is at play here. And so he's waiting. He understands it's temporary. More will be revealed. So for the time being, he's not doing anything. It doesn't mean that there's nothing happening with the situation. Energy is always flowing, even if you can't see visible outcome or consequences or see that. It's always flowing. It's like water is always flowing under the surface. You just can't see it, but it is always moving. So things are always in motion. Some of you, some news or information may come in that causes you to kind of take a step back, manifest this energy of the Hanging Man. For some of you, you might get direct advice or guidance to just wait, just hang back. Things are still kind of happening. Things are still kind of playing out. It does look like there's a decision on the table. Some of you may be making this decision, although I feel like you should be working with other people to do whatever needs to be done to kind of get through this situation. Because it looks, you know, like a bit of a challenging time for some of you. I'm going to pull a couple of additional cards to see, just a couple to see if anything, because I feel like this is going to resolve itself, or you're going to be able to successfully, through collaboration, resolve this. Meaning, do what you need to do to move through it. I don't feel like it's all that far off. Again, for some of you, this is about a relationship. I don't feel... I mean, some of you, it might be a relationship ending or walking away from a relationship, but for the majority of you, I'm not feeling that. It may be a struggle for a significant or primary relationship, but it does look like working together you can get through whatever this is. That's what I feel. Let's see if we get any validation here. Okay, we have the Six of Wands, victory and triumph after a struggle, and then the Eight of Cups, walking away. So it looks like you are going to be successful, Capricorn, although for some of you it may not be until December. But again, time is always fluid, so don't ever take it specifically. I usually pull 2 cards per week, but that's a general energy. There's so many of you watching, this time is going to kind of fluctuate a bit in either direction. But it does look like the mindful path, taking Spirit's advice, you will be victorious and successful after a challenge. Triumphant after a struggle of some kind, in leaving something behind that was no longer working for you. Yeah. And remember your overall advice, Capricorn. Check with your intuition. If you get in a space where emotions are kind of all over the place and you can't connect with that intuitive sense, don't make any decisions in the heat of emotion. And remember, teamwork, compromise, negotiation, and collaboration with one other person or with other people that this may involve. So Capricorn, that pretty much wraps up your November 2018 general reading. I hope you found it useful and helpful. Again, if any of you are interested in a more personal one-on-one reading with me, please go to my YouTube channel's homepage and click on the little About button there for more information and my contact details, or you can click on the description bar of all the videos I post for that info. Please feel free to contact me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be most happy to work with you and set up a reading as quickly as possible. I do love and romance, of course, relationship compatibility charting, reconciliation potential. I do career work and finance as well as investment readings, channeled messages from passed on loved ones, as long as there was a strong connection there. And I also do 6 and 12-month overviews, which take a look at what's coming in all the main areas of your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And they're pretty popular around the last couple of months of the year, although you can do them any time of the year. A lot of people like to order those as a new year is drawing to a close, or as an old year is drawing to a close and a new one is approaching. And gift readings as well, which are also pretty popular during the holidays as gifts for friends, family, and loved ones, so something to keep in mind. I will see you all again, Capricorn, in a couple of weeks for the November 2018 mid-month readings, and until then, as always, I wish you joy, peace, blessings, and a happy life. Take care, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.